Hello fellow human, welcome back to another Dank Doggo r/ entitled parents videos. Have you ever got yelled in the public by some random angry parents before? On to the first story by u/darksoul89, entitled Woman Tries to Get Family Evicted and It Backfires. My boyfriend just told me this story and I thought it belonged here. When he was 14, he was living with his mom and sister on a housing estate. It was summer and he liked a bit of light in his upstairs room, so he left the curtains open at all times. That included when he was getting dressed and after having a shower. So if you purposefully stared at his window, you could only see him from his waist up. Well, their neighbor did not like that one bit. She went pounding on their door, yelling at my mother-in-law that her son was a disgrace, hanging around always naked and exposing himself to her daughter, same age as him. My mother-in-law told her that he had every right to do whatever he wanted in his bedroom, and that if they didn't want to see him, all they needed to do was not to look. A couple of days went by, and lo and behold, the police showed up at their door. Turns out their neighbor had been filming and taking pictures of my boyfriend to show to the housing people as evidence of his wrongdoing to get them kicked out. Except that the housing office called the police on her for taking pictures and videos of an underage kid and kicked her and her family out. Well, this is a perfect example of what happens when you don't stop and think of where your actions will lead. On to the second post by DCholic19. We're having a sixth kid we cannot afford, so we expect you to give us your college fund. I am female 19 years old and my parents' second child. I have 3 brothers, 21, 13, and 7, and a sister, 16. We grew up poor and our parents were often dependent on financial help from relatives, friends, etc. for raising us. This is because even though my dad has a mediocre job and my mom doesn't work, they just kept on popping out one kid after another. My parents are very religious and believe that children are a gift from God. And personally, I think that is a total BS. My parents' reproductive choices wouldn't bother me if it hadn't caused mine and my siblings' lives turn to crap. While growing up, we never had new clothes or toys. We had to accept hands-out from family members who were better off. We never went out or did anything fun. To top it off, we were well aware that the rest of the family looked down on us for constantly asking for handouts. Now, my older brother and I have managed to get into good colleges and are looking forward to a future that would be better than our parents' lives. He and I were staying at our parents' place for a while due to the COVID-19 lockdown. One morning, my parents called all 5 of us into the living room. Mom said that she had great news. The smile that was forming on my face died a quick death when she said, "We are pregnant." I lost my temper. I asked them how they could be so stupid and irresponsible. Do they not have enough financial troubles already that they have to bring in another mouth to feed? My older brother tried to calm me down, but I was livid. After a lifetime of scarcity because of my parents' stupidity, they still hadn't learned their lesson. I asked them how they planned to provide for the kid. My dad told me I would have to give up the money our great uncle had left me. He had left all 5 of us some money which only we could access when we turned 18. I said, hell no! That money would help to pay for my college expenses. He called me selfish for not being there for the family. I told them if they couldn't provide for the kid, they shouldn't have the baby in the first place. My mom started crying and called me a hurtless monster. Dad told me he was disgusted with me. I told them there was no way I was going to pay for this stupidity, and the only thing I would be willing to pay is for termination. What I was really worried about was my siblings' lives getting even worse. My older brother and I have escaped our parents' clutches, but the others, especially my younger sister, will be expected to help take care of this baby. No teenager deserves to have their adolescence ruined by diapers and a screaming baby. I know what it's like, as I had to go through that. It was expected of me to be an unpaid nanny to my younger brothers and sister. My older brother could go out with his friends and have fun, but I had to stay home and help give baths then feed the toddlers. I decided to get some family members involved so they could talk some sense into my parents. I called my mom's maternal cousin. She's one of my favorite people. When I told her that mom and dad were having another kid, she reacted with, "What? Again?" I told her everything and how they expected me to hand over my inheritance. She said she was going to speak to my parents and told me not to sign over anything. I promised her I wouldn't. Of course, I won't. I also called two of my first cousins, one of whom is an accountant, so she could explain to my parents how much of a financial liability this baby is going to be and try to convince them to either not have it or give it up for adoption. I moved out of my parents' homes a few days ago. I was only going to stay there till the lockdown was relaxed, but I just can't bear to listen to my mom's nagging and that I don't want to have another sibling. I've moved into a friend's basement for a minimal rent. My mom's cousin paid them a visit about a week ago and tried to tell them they weren't doing this child any favors by bringing it to a life of poverty. My mom was very rude to my aunt and told her that a woman who chose to remain barren will never understand a mother's love. My aunt never wanted kids, nor had any. One of the reasons she's my fave. My dad told her to get out. Aunt told me there was nothing she could do, but she did try. I didn't blame her. The cousin tried to explain the economic impact this kid would have, and my mom cried about how everyone was trying to take away her baby. What the duck? The quote-unquote intervention didn't do crap. So now I've decided to cut contact with my parents. I just can't watch my family slide further and further into a hellhole. I will be maintaining contact with my sister, 16 years old, just to make sure my parents can't brainwash her. My older brother is going to stay in touch with all of them, which is a good thing, as he can act as a link between me and other siblings if my parents ever forbid them from talking to me. Otherwise, I'm done with these people. Yeah, I'm not against people having kids or big families. Actually, I support that, but your parents are irresponsible. Moving on to the third story by Gracie NYH. Karen steals all my Pokemon cards. Disney mom cult saves the day. Characters: me, 8 years old girl. My mom, member of Disney mom cult. Karen, well, Karen. Brad, Karen's kid. So to set the story, my family was camping up in the Canadian North. It was a large family cabin, meaning only family with small kids could stay there. We shared it with about 10 other families. I was playing with the family's kids and showing off my Pokemon cards. I was a huge collector and had so many rare cards. One kid, or Brad, showed an especial interest. "Those are so cool," Brad says. "Heck yeah, I love Pokemon." Me, "I want them," Brad says. You can get them at Walmart." Me, "I think that is the end of it," as he walks off after a little bit of chatting. About 10 minutes, Karen appears and approaches me, which I thought was creepy since I was a little kid and at the point alone. "Hey there, little girl. Brad said you have some cool Pokemans. Brad would really like those Pokemans," says Karen. Karen then pulled out $10 and offered it for all of my Pokemon cards. No way! Pokemon is like my favorite thing ever, I say. I'm creeped out but flattered that even adult likes my Pokemon cards. She leaves, still giving me creeper vibes. Time passed and the kids all came, except Brad, out of their rooms and decided to make a giant pillow fort in the living room space. I leave my Pokemon card binder on the big log table I had been sitting at this entire time. After I help make a glorious pillow fort, I come back to my table. The binder is gone! I immediately start freaking out looking for it. After looking for a bit, I see Brad looking suspicious in the hallway. "Hey Brad, have you seen my Pokemon cards? I can't find them," I say, extremely distressed. Brad smiles and says, "Mommy said that I could have them." "What? No, give them back," I say. The rest is fuzzy, but I remember my mom confronting the Karen. The Karen insisted that she knew nothing about it. When I said what the kid had told me, the kid denied it. We even asked the person running the camp if they could search Karen and Brad's room, but it was against camp policy. I am extremely sad for the rest of the trip. The only card I have left is the EV card I always kept in my back pocket. When we returned, my mom got to work. My mom was in what we referred to as the Disney cult. It was an online form of kind of 4chan, but only for middle-aged women who obsessed with Disney. Like in an unhealthy amount. My mom made a forum about what had happened to me. Well, the Disney mommy bloggers stepped the duck up. For the next 3 months, I received mail of Pokemon cards, all with extremely kind, handwritten letters of sympathy. I got back only a fraction of what I lost, but my faith in humanity had been restored. To this day, I'm still touched by their actions. Thank you, Disney Mom and Cult. If Karen and Brad are reading this, well, duck you. Give me back my Holo Charizard. Wait, he stole a Holo Charizard? I'm no Pokemon collector, but I believe it does cost a fortune. That right there is a crime. On to the final story by u/, helpfully unarmed. Update, our entitled parents who disowned us for not giving them grandchildren struck again. I did not expect to be back so soon, but here we are. About a month ago, my fiancé and I posted about how both of our parents decided to threaten us to take it off their will if we did not give them grandchildren, which we won't be. Anyhow, they struck again, and my fiancé is really fuming with rage now and wants to share the situation with you all. There are some points that will need clarification, and I'll try to make them along the way. First, as we mentioned in our last post, due to the absurdity of the situation, our parents were imposing on us. We felt that we do not want them on our wedding. Thus, we rescinded their invitation as a whole. My brother is my best man, and he supports us wholeheartedly. Now, we get to the point of the post. After we left my parents' home that day, we had absolutely zero contact with them. They made their decisions and we made ours. We thought that was going to be it. Now, one thing that needs to be clarified, our wedding was planned to be happening in October 17th. However, due to the pandemic outbreak, these large gatherings of people were completely prohibited, on my region at least. But thankfully, the venue we had acquired is run by the most loved administrators. As soon as the outbreak started, they contacted us and gave us every assistance needed with rescheduling. Thus, we rescheduled our wedding to 2021 in the same month, as the situation is still, well, uncertain. That can change, but shouldn't for the time being. We aren't really bothered by it, as we understand the situation is very dire, and we don't mind waiting for time which everyone will be safe, well, possibly. This morning, while I was studying for some exams I will be having at school, my fiancé got a call from the venue administrator, asking why did we want to cancel our wedding. Obviously, that was very strange and confusing to us. My fiancé let them know that we had no desire to cancel our wedding, and further asked what was that about. Apparently, my fiancé's parents called the venue on our behalf, telling them that we no longer wanted to rent the place as we would no longer be getting married. Now, let me explain why the venue was leaning on accepting the situation. In my country, our IDs carry not only our ID and social security equivalent number, but also the name of the parents. And to rent a venue, you need to provide your ID for them as a bureaucracy requirement. I don't know if that's how it works everywhere, so I wanted to make it clear. Apparently, they wanted to take advantage of that fact and try to dupe the venue to cancel our wedding. Luckily, the administrator is quite smart and saw that on our sheet needed for the rental, there is only 2 names and numbers for contact if we can't be reached. One is my brother, another is my fiancé best friend. At the time, we booked the place, and we were already in strange relationship with our parents, so neither of us put them as contact. Thankfully, the administrator actually paid attention to that and took the care and time to reach out for us. Otherwise, we might not only lose our special date, but also our deposit and dream venue. I'll be honest in saying that I never expected that kind of behavior from anyone in our families, but alas, it seems I was wrong. Anyhow, my fiancé is letting out fumes and I'm trying to calm her down. We already sent a contact to her parents and mine, as we are sure they are in this together, for them to never try to meddle in our lives again. My brother is as angry as we are, and he just told me he was heading to their house to tear them a new one. I don't even know how to feel right now. I'm crestfallen if anything. I never expected or wanted things to be this way, but neither of us will go back on our decision of not having children. Truth be told, I already have the papers for sterilization ready. I just hope that one day they do see that their entitlement just lost them their son and daughter, all because of grandchildren that will never exist. Cheers! Well, that was very horrible of the parents for do that. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.